My Matrix Spoons story video was so well received and got so much good feedback and appreciation that I decided I am going to tell some more stories like that. I have a whole journal I've been keeping for years of miraculous stuff that God has done, and I want to share more of what miraculous divine stuff I've seen the Lord do over the years, and I'm going to tell another one of my favorites. It goes back to 1994. I was 23 and a senior at Houghton College in Western New York, and I decided during my senior year to volunteer as the youth leader of a little tiny church between Belmont, New York, and Scio, New York. And I'm going to show a map of pointing out where that is in New York, down there in Western New York. And I'm going to show a picture of me dressed up, just thrilled to be getting my feet wet in the ministry out front of the church building. And here is a picture of my sweet little youth group, the first youth group that I was at the helm of. And I lived there on the church property that summer of 1994 as a Southern Baptist summer missionary. And then, like I said, I spent the whole senior year volunteering as their youth leader. I did the bulletins. I did a little bit of special music, started dabbling in the music. I had not even taken up guitar yet, but I knew I wanted to learn music. So I started with much fear doing special music from time to time. Brought my friends from college all the time. But anyway, let's get to the story. One Friday night in the summer of 1994, I decided let's put on a volleyball tournament and let's invite some other youth groups and have some fellowship together. So the afternoon that we were going to start setting up for this volleyball tournament, my teens and I showed up early and we started stretching out tape on the ground and volleyball nets. And I'm going to show a picture of both the church property. And then here's a picture of where we put the nets. I think we set up just two of them. I don't know how many youth groups. We invited several, maybe 2 or 3 others showed up, but we were pretty excited about an event we were putting on. But in the middle of the afternoon, the sky started growing very dark. Ominous rain clouds started appearing, dark clouds, and we got a little bit nervous. So we got in that parking lot there, held hands or whatever in a circle and prayed and asked the Lord to hold off any rain so we could have our volleyball tournament. So after doing that, we went back to work, setting up the lines, stretching out the lines and the nets and putting out water, filling up the volleyballs, whatever we had to do. But lo and behold, sure enough, it wasn't long before one of my teenagers came running over and said, "Dan, it is raining to the south." It is raining across the road. And sure enough, it was raining. I said, well, it's not raining here on our property. Let's keep praying and keep setting up. So wasn't long after that. Next, one of my teens comes running over. "Dan, it's raining on the other side of the railroad tracks." Yikes. But it wasn't raining on our property. So I said, well, keep praying and keep setting up because we're dry. And it wasn't long before so one of my teens came around and said, "Dan, it is raining in the cornfield." Now that's on the north side. We've had the south, we've had the east, now we've had the north, and it is raining in the cornfield, sure enough. So I said, well, it's not raining here. Let's keep praying and keep on setting up. And again, one more time, it wasn't long after that someone said, "Dan, it is raining on the other side of the church building." And that would have been to the west. And sure enough, it was raining now on all 4 sides of our church property. It was dry on our church property. And sure enough, the vans started rolling in from the other churches that we invited, these youth groups. The vans were wet. And it was dry on our property. So we said, let's play volleyball. I don't remember how many brackets or whatever, how many games we played, but we played the entire volleyball tournament without speeding it up or anything, without shortening it. It rained on and off all around our property. It was dry on our property the entire time till we got to the last game. We got the champions now going up against each other and played that whole last match. I don't remember how many we played that night, several, until we were down to, one, we would have one winner. Well, the last serve of the last game was served. The last point was won, and we had a winner. Entire thing dry, but it was at that moment there was a crack of thunder and lightning, and rain started coming down the size of peanut M&Ms. But it held off all the way until that moment. We ran inside. I had just got a new Dave Reaver VHS video in the mail that day, a well-known Vietnam vet turned youth evangelist, and we watched that. We played dry. We ran in getting pelted by the rain, and we watched this Dave Reaver video, and there probably wasn't a dry eye in the place because it was just the way that the Lord had orchestrated the whole thing. And I'm just so blessed and amazed that I witnessed that, and such a nice reminder of how much God cares about us and would let us, have our fellowship, have that time to watch him at work. So I hope this is a blessing to someone else. I'm going to try to do more of these and just keep on telling of God's glories. Amen. Hey, say what you want, how you think it's naturally possible, it's meteorologically possible for a rainstorm to encircle a property while leaving it dry itself for 2 to 3 hours. Sure, that's one thing if you want to suggest that. But when you pair it with the fact that we asked for that, received that, and then we got rained on hardcore the very moment that the last point was scored of our volleyball tournament, and I think that then the statistical improbability is just immeasurable. It's off the charts and just points to the divine